Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft, and after I made the two holiday cards with the burgundies and pinks and stuff like that, I had a few extra strips sitting on my desk from the little bits that I cut off of those A2 cards, A2 papers. So I decided to do one of my favorite card layouts, and that is to lay down a bunch of strips and make a card with it. So I put a green base down and a glitter, the red, sort of a burgundy red glitter paper as a mat. And then I'm just going to randomly lay down these strips. So I make sure each one's, I'm trying to randomize it. So each one's not exactly the same length. I try to make sure that both top and bottom are slightly different as I lay down each one, and that I'm not putting two papers that are too much alike, and trying to just spread out the colors and just make it work. And then I'm using some thin glitter paper, which I also used on those other cards, as sort of dividers between the patterned paper. So this whole video is sped up about only 2.8 times. So it didn't take me that long to do this. It's very relaxing, I have to say that. Other things I could have done, I could have used these strips and turned the card into portrait mode and sort of made a Christmas tree out of these strips. So that's another idea that you could use, especially for the holidays. This one is, I did not do that, but it's still a holiday card simply because I'm using some holiday colors and holiday papers. For example, one of the papers says joy on it. So I'm still just going along. I won't go all the way to the edge. I'll leave a little green space at either end. I'm just trying to use up these little scraps instead of putting them away. I already had a wide version of this pink, so I wanted a thinner one. I didn't want to do two wide ones. I'm using art glitter glue for my adhesive. It dries really fast and works really well for applications like this especially. Getting close, just a couple more. I'll do another green, and this has trees on the back of it. And yeah, I'll do, I think there's just a couple more. And then I'm going to make a sentiment for it. And I will use the, this paper came from a scrapbook.com paper pad. Probably called Joy, and in the same bundle they had a stamp set, so I'm going to use just the word joy from that stamp set and see how we end up. So I think that's the last that I'm going to do, and here I guess I'm thinking what I'm going to do for the so I was thinking about putting, a bigger sentiment on there, and you could, but I just decided that I wanted to do something smaller and really just show off all those papers instead of covering most of them up. So I'm going to pull out this stamp set from scrapbook.com, and I have a piece of cream paper, and I'm going to get out my Versamark It's a clear, sticky ink, and it's great for embossing powders. I remembered to use the anti-static powder on it. Excuse the top of my head. And I'm using the rose gold. I use this a lot. I love this embossing powder. I think it's Brutus Monroe rose gold. So I'm just going to go off and heat set that. And I'm back already because I cut out some of the video where I had disappeared. And I am trimming this down to a little bit smaller rectangle. And then just so it's not a plain, I could have die cut it with a shape, but sometimes I just like to cut it to fit. And then I'm going to use my corner chomper, which I'm doing off screen, you can't see it, to cut the corners. And it's a ticket corner chomper. So I'm going to set that down and then trim around it. And I end up fussing with this quite a bit because, well, I didn't measure. It's not exactly even, so I'm just trying to trim it up so that the corners are even, which means when I crocodile these corners, it should look even, but it doesn't, so I have to play with it a little bit. So just messing around till it looks the way it should. Otherwise, if one side is a little thicker than the other, then it's going to look crooked, those corners. So you just want to make sure each side is the same size mat. But I think I finally have it. And I'm going to pop that up. And then I'm going to use some rose gold Nuvo drops, or maybe I use the copper. I think I use the copper colored Nuvo drops for a little embellishment, a little final touch on here. Clean off my stamp before it gets crusty. I thought about doing some sequins. I don't think I do the sequins. Maybe I do. Ah, I do the sequins instead of the Nuvo drops. I forgot about that. I have done this several days ago. So I think I did the Nuvo drops on the other cards that I did. And this one, I did some sequins. And they're just the right tones for this paper. Let's just add a little bling, a little finishing touch. Well, thanks a lot, you guys. And please give this video a thumbs up and come back for more content.